Welcome back to the Brothers Grin, everybody. Last show we talked about some of our stories here going out and whatnot, and funny story that happened to me in Africa. I used to travel all over South America and Mexico and Australia, Saudi Arabia, all over the place, and I never had any problems anywhere. There was fights and different stuff like that, but this one particular time we went to a place called Mossel Bay. It's like right in the very point of South Africa, and it was cool, man. Food was good. I had a hotel right on like you could see the ocean, dolphins swimming and stuff. It was awesome. We were walking with lions, and I might throw some pictures in here. But me and my buddy Lucas went out. Lucas is from Poland. He's a blonde haired, blue eye guy, Polish dude. He could speak English pretty well. But we had a couple nights before the job started. So we decided we was going to go out in the town. Me and him were both in like cargo shorts and flip flops, t-shirt, hat, just the total tourist vibe. We get to this one club and literally me and him were the only white people in the club. It was cracking though. I mean, music was good, bumping. Everybody was having a good time. We was buying shots and stuff. I mean, great group of people, right? Well, at the time I used a vaporizer. Lucas, being from Europe, being from Poland, like techno music, and we heard techno coming from across the street, and he's like, let's go over there. I want to check that out. So I'm like, okay, dope. Let's go. We head over to the techno club. We go up there. They have a patio where you can go smoke. I was out there using a vaporizer. Well, this couple that was sitting over there was like, what's that? Because it was new at the time. And they haven't been seen yet. And they're like, we've never seen that before. Where are you guys from? I'm like, oh, I'm from Cali. And this is my boy Lucas from Poland, and we're just having a good time. They had sailed a yacht on like some regatta or something like that, all the way from Johannesburg, Africa, down to Mossel Bay. Well, they were like, well, we're staying over at this yacht club. We got a rental car and stuff. If you guys want to join us, because we were there for 45 minutes, an hour, listening to tech and music. And it was kind of slow, not too many people in there. And they're like, but it's cracking at the yacht club. Let's go to the yacht club. And we're like, dope, we're down. Let's go. So we jumped in the rental, drove us to the yacht club. We get there. I was like, man, this is nice. We go in there. It was like almost like a school cafeteria vibe, like huge like that. Not in the sense of like the seating was like those bench seats with two like long tables with the benches on each side of them.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, we was there for about 10, 15 minutes, having a good time, listening to music, danced a little bit. I was like, I'm going to go get us some Jaeger bombs. And they're like, Jaeger bombs? I'm like, yeah, Jaeger bombs. And they didn't know what it was at first. And so I go over there. I was like, it's just Red Bull and Jaeger. You drop the Jaeger in and whatnot. So I go get a tray of Jaeger bombs. I'm like, cool. As I walk back, when I set the tray on the table, I get hit. And I'm like, when I got hit, it knocked me down because it was like sucker punch from behind. I hit the ground. And at the time I'm thinking like, did somebody just hit me? Because, I'm 6'3", 255 maybe at the time. And, not too many people just going to walk up and hit you out of the blue. Didn't do anything, didn't make any gestures to anybody, nothing like that, So I'm just totally out of the blue. Well, I get hit, knocked down, and then I get feet thrown at me, and I'm getting stomped. I'm like and it wasn't that I was trying to get up from between those seats, I'm pretty wide in the shoulders, so it's like struggling, trying to get out while you're getting kicked and trying to get up. And I'm like, Lucas, get these fools off me, Lucas. Well, Lucas comes in, dude, he didn't even hesitate, and he's about 6'1", maybe 190. He's throwing fools off. I get up and there's like 4 or 5 of, I don't know how many there were at the time. If I start duking, we're slinging and I'm just knocking people, getting hit, knocking people left and right. And it's like a crowd of them. And the whole time I'm thinking like, what happened? Like as everything's going on, adrenaline's pumping, dude, no girl, I don't even know where they went. And bouncers get involved, they're restraining folks and got us all pinned up against the wall. I'm being cooperative at that time. I'm always like, when security or cops get involved, I'm telling the bouncers like, dude, I don't know what happened. I was walking back with drinks and got hit, and so they take us and like my flip flop was gone, my hat was wherever. Lucas is telling his story. They called the cops. Like the cops ended up coming. They got us out front and there's 2 sides to this, 2 entrances. They got us on one side. They got the other folks on the other side. Well, cops came and took our stories and stuff. And they're like, we're just going to take you guys back to the hotel to make sure nothing happens to you. I'm just thinking like the whole time the cops didn't come out and say it, but I found out the next day they were like, they looked at my travel paperwork and they were like, okay, you're here for a job. You're leaving at this time. These guys are going to be locked up until you leave. I was like, I was like confused, because the cops didn't want to come out and say it. But there's this guy named Sonny, and Sonny was the safety rep. Cool little cat. He'd come by the hotel. He'd take us out to eat and stuff. We'd go eat with him, whatever. He was like, the next day, he's like, what happened? Because, you can see we got into a fight. I didn't have no black eyes or anything. I had just like, busted nose and some scratches and stuff from duking with these fools. Fucking little punks. But anyway, He's like, "Oh, Alex, yeah, I would have told you you can't go there." And I was like, "What? What do you mean I can't go there?" He's like, "You're not white enough to be in that club." And I, it kind of caught me off guard. I was like, "My mom's name is Mary McNeil. Like, what?" I'm not white enough. He's like, "No, you gotta be blonde hair and like blue eyes to go in that club." And I was just like, and we're tan, and dark hair, but they just threw me for a loop. And he's like, I was like, "Man, we was out partying in Black Club and having a great time with them folks, just all locals,
Hmm.
drum, bass going off. It was cool as heck." Here we are at a country club out of all places that I've traveled, and I've went through riots in Mexico. We've been in club. I mean, we saw riot in Argentina. We had to stay in our hotels. They're throwing shit and tear gas and stuff. But never have I went anywhere where they were just like, "You're not white enough to be in our club." I was just like, dude, this crazy. And even in Sac, dude, I've been in South Sac in some dark clubs. I mean, having a great old time. Like, this white boy can dance. Like,
Yeah.
it just threw me for a loop that would be a reason to get into a fight. I'm not white enough to be in their country club kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Bro,
But
man, I mean, online, man, you see stuff about that, like the racism in South Africa is a big thing. There's like a lot of
yeah,
conflict down
there's
there,
like five
and
or six languages spoken down there. I mean, I don't
yeah,
really know
man,
the ins and
it's
outs. I mean, it was a beautiful
bro. I
place,
mean,
like I
kudos to
said.
you for going out and venturing around and stuff and being about that. But boy, if I was in South Africa, I'd stay my ass at the hotel, man.
Well,
Go down to the cafeteria or something like that.
no,
Nah,
it's not.
bro.
It was nice there, though. I mean, it wasn't like
I'm
third
not saying it
world.
wasn't nice, but
When Thomas and the boys went to Johannesburg, like the operators were like, "Don't at nighttime because they had night shift. They're like, don't stop at red lights, don't stop at stop signs, drive right on through." Like, just people try to pull you over at gunpoint and take your car, kind of thing. In Venezuela, man, we were in Venezuela driving in a rental car. Me and Roberto, when we drive by, we watch these guys loading these black duffel bags onto a bus, and they're all armed, standing outside this house. We was like looking the other way. I'm like, I ain't even looking over
bruh.
there. Like, Mexico in Cadereyta, we were there eating breakfast, and all the contractors that are down there, I mean, we worked with them for multiple years, and they'd be like, I was looking over and I saw a brand new Mustang, brand new Ford F-150. And I was like, "Oh, those are nicer cars for where we're at, kind of thing." And then like 3 or 4 girls walk out, and they were all like 8s and 9s. And I was just like, "Boys, you seeing this?" They're like, "Gringo, don't even look over there." I was like, "What?" They're like, "Gringo, I'm telling you, don't even look over there." Well, I'm sitting there eating, and as I glance over, like I'm eating, I didn't turn and give a straight stare. I just, kind of side-eyed it. Here comes these two homies walking out, just all Ed Hardy, bedazzled, fucking 3 or 4 cell phones on their hip, that, them sparkly cowboy boots with them big old belt buckles. And I was just like, after they left, I mean, I knew, I passed Sixth
Yeah.
Sense just kicked. Yeah. They was like, "Yeah,
I've seen
homie."
Sicario, bro. Don't even.
Yeah, that's what I was like. I ain't trying to end up with
No,
my head
bro.
in the plaza somewhere, like hanging
Bro.
from a bridge or some crazy nonsense.
Yeah, what was it, the first time I went to Mexico for vacation, when I was told that's where like, the family wanted to go, all my ex-in-laws and stuff, they're like, "Oh, we're gonna go down to Mexico, and we're gonna stay at the resort." And I was like, "Mexico? I don't know." And everybody's like, "What do you mean you don't know?" And I was like, "Bro, did you not watch the news a month ago? That's when they were finding people in barrels and stuff lit on fire." I told my girl at the time, "Listen, I know we watched, what was that movie, American Assassin?" I was like, "That ain't gonna be how it goes down. If you get murked down there, bro, I'm gonna go back to the States, bro.
I
I
could
ain't gonna
get
come back
I could
here.
get married again. I ain't trying to train myself and go through the sea.
I ain't gonna come back to the States and learn kung fu and mixed martial arts. I mean, I like guns. I know how to shoot guns, but I ain't gonna get like proficient with a whole bunch of shit. And I ain't gonna come track
Yeah.
down the cartel, track down freaking ISIS. Like, nah, bro, we ain't built for that, bro." Like, I'm like,
Yeah.
but that's the thing though. Like, I stayed on the resort, and then we took the bus from one resort to another resort, and I was just like, just watching, just driving through there, man. Fucking, the police is militarized, bro. Humvee, not Humvees, but like
Yeah.
Jeeps with
Yeah.
freaking
That's
50
how it
cows
is
on them, and I'm
everywhere.
like,
Yeah.
nah, bro,
Yeah.
nah, stay
It's
in your lane.
nervous like that. I mean, all the federal police, I took a bunch of the contractors out in Mexico another time, and we were in a place called Tula, and I took them out to let's say a gentleman's club, and it
Mhm.
was huge. We're all there having drinks, and girls was dancing and whatnot. And dude, the federals came in. I mean, masked up, machine guns, paperwork, everybody paperwork on the table.
Mhm.
We was like, and I'm always nervous because I got to whip out the passport, and I'm like, sitting here, and They came up, he looked at it and then just tossed it back on the table and walked away. I was like, I mean, there's me and you when we were in Venezuela at the park.
Bro, I
Remember
think
when they
about
threw
that.
us up against the fence and that guy was like, we didn't even speak Spanish at the time. And he's like screaming at us and stuff. We're just like, well, we were two guys, 15, you were 13. Like, we didn't know what the heck was going on. But yeah,
Dude,
I mean, traveling all over, you got to be careful. But I tell everybody this, and I'll have tons more stories to tell from traveling, but it's always nice to go out with the locals go and have a good time and experience the culture. I've gone everywhere we've gone, but there is always them bad places that you don't want to go, and you got to be careful.
and
And you
that's
got to,
even here though, dude. Like you
yeah.
can't
Oh yeah,
like
dude.
and I said this in other videos, bro, but you can't relinquish the responsibility of your own safety to anyone, especially when you out of the country. I don't care if motherfuckers telling me, "Well, I know the area, I know this and that." Like, nah, bro.
Mm-mm,
Like,
yeah,
I trust my gut on that shit. Like, certain bars
yeah,
downtown, oh, we're gonna go into this one. I'm like, nah, man, I ain't going in there, bro.
dude.
Like, it's just not worth it, bro. It's not that
Yeah.
I'm going to act out of pocket. It's just the likelihood of somebody acting out of pocket and then being forced into a situation that can most likely turn incredibly bad. Because out here, man, like, yeah, they might pat
Oh
fools
yeah,
down. I haven't seen a club with a metal detector yet, but like, I know they pat fools down, but that
yeah,
don't mean they catch everything.
dude.
And
Yeah. Me and Cheryl were
it's
at the
not worth it.
Empire in Sacramento, and this is an upscale club that you take. I mean, business casual, long sleeve, rolled
Mhm.
up, maybe cuffed if you want, whatever. Nice shoes, dress shoes, nice jeans. We were leaving there, and pop, 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 pop. But I mean, I duck and look around. I ain't running because I ain't trying to be a target. I'm behind the car. I'm like, let's grab Cheryl and duck
Mhm.
down.
Cover.
But anyway, yeah, it just depends. I ain't walking around South Sac at 2, 3 in the morning on Broadway or
Uh,
Garden Block. You know better.
well,
You just know where not to go.
I don't know if I mentioned it on here, but I've talked about it before. But my old coworker, he was like 23, was downtown Reno drinking. So him and his buddy, he said,
And we've been
and
downtown
they were
Reno
leaving.
plenty of times. New
Yeah,
Year's.
right, and they were leaving the bar at 3 in the morning and going to walk home down 4th Street, and he said, I'm walking," and my
Been
buddy
there.
stopped to take a piss, and I was continue walking. He said this dude just rolled up on him, short dude, not some big dude, and just gun to his chest and was like, "Give me all your
Give me
money,"
your
and he's like,
shit.
"Bro, I
Yeah.
don't have no money, I'm walking home, like, I'm faded, I spent my money, you can have my credit cards," and the dude pistol whipped him, and, like, when he came to work, bro, the side of his face was exploding,
Woo!
bro. Messed up. And I was like, "Damn, bro," like,
Just made
but
himself a
then again,
target.
like,
Made
me
himself
being
that.
me, like, if I'm walking anywhere, I'm on the main street, but I ain't out at 4 in the morning, like, trying to walk
Yeah.
home on some side skirt,
Times ain't
like,
the same.
especially
Yeah.
dude, but, it's nowhere's super safe. There's always an
Yeah.
element percentage, as we talked about before, having a CCW and stuff like that, you have to be a little more conscious because obviously you ain't taking that out drinking with you. That
Yeah,
could
for
get you in a
sure.
lot of trouble.
Yeah.
You're not
Yeah.
going into places and stuff with that kind of stuff, and, you ain't trying to make that decision when you have any alcohol in your system, even though you can have, like, a beer. A beer's
Yeah.
okay, long as you're not inebriated and stuff and your judgment is still there, but that
And
takes
local
self-evaluation.
law.
People don't
Yeah.
have that,
Local
but
laws and stuff have all their
yeah.
different stuff you need
But,
to
I
abide
mean,
by.
in South Africa, that definitely
Yeah. It was
that'd
a crazy
definitely
trip,
be
man. It was a crazy
yeah,
trip.
of
Just thought
course,
it'd be a
and the
fun story to
memories.
share here. Well, thank
Yeah,
y'all for
no, for
joining us
sure, for
again.
sure.
Catch us on the next one. We'll see y'all later.
Have a good one.